Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Barely There Theater, where we present theater to you, barely. Up this week, a rehearsal process of this month's play. The audio presented here is a mostly unmastered recording, with any changes or omissions made at the request of those being recorded. This is to help facilitate a safe and creative rehearsal space where ideas can flow freely in the moment. There will be a brief message at the end of rehearsal, so stick around. We hope you enjoy the process.
Jody Magnet.
So here we are. Here's the script. This is one of the first scripts I've ever wrote? Jesus Christ. This is one of the first scripts I ever wrote. Thank you. Okay. It doesn't sound like a word.
It's because you said it wrong the first time.
I wrote this back in 2015, maybe even earlier. No, It was 2015.
That was going to be my next question is, did you actually write this script? Because it totally felt like something you had written. Mm-hmm. And if it hasn't, I was like, oh my gosh, you must be friends with him or something.
No, this was all me. It's a little creaky in spots. It's very much, as I was working through with Adam on Monday, I was like, yeah, this is very much a writer figuring out what their voice is. But, there's still a lot. As I really didn't anticipate going into it. I'm like, it's a 9-page monologue. We'll be able to get through it in like an hour. And Adam and I ended up working on the rehearsal for 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I left in the middle of it. Because I had to go. And you guys were...
Just because we once we got to talking, we just kept digging deeper and deeper. And it was a blast. So I'm excited to see...
I'm excited too.
What happens today. Have you, and I gather you've already had a chance to, I'm leveled, I can take these back off me now. I gathered you've read this so far?
Yes,
okay,
I have. Yep.
Perfect. So what I want to do is I want to flip to page 7.
Okay.
And I don't know if in the script you printed off, it's highlighted for you already. Perfect. That is the, I want to start here.
Okay.
Because I think this is kind of, well, first off, this paragraph doesn't work for you as an actress.
Your email was perfect.
Yeah.
What was the word or the line that you used? It was painfully straight.
Yeah.
That's the favorite line I've ever received in an email ever.
Yeah, and so this, for the most part, the rest of the script really does work for anyone except for this one paragraph.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're just going to totally deconstruct, disassemble, and rebuild this paragraph for our purposes, because this is kind of the framework that the rest of the character is built out of.
Yeah.
This is who they are. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it.
I think I was most excited and most nervous to do this part, because I was really excited to see how your brain works when deconstructing and reconstructing like a script and adding depth to something like this. But I'm also nervous, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope I have the right answers.
And I want to stress there are no wrong answers.
Right.
Really, what this is you and I are going to be building this together, because I want it to be, if it's a one-person show, ideally the one-person show should be tailored to fit the actor, or the actor's strengths should be highlighted, because it's just you, it's just your voice. You don't have actors to bounce off of.
Right.
So we're going to work to build what's going to help enable you to do the most fun stuff with the script. So all that being said, I think a good way to start off is just to read this paragraph as is, so we can kind of get a feeling of what the tone is, what the feeling is of the way it's written, and then we'll go through it bit by bit and just rework it till it works for us.
All right.
And Sydney, can you grab a pencil for Cassidy, unless you already have one on you?
I can.
Never mind. She came prepared.
Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't.
All right, here we go. Oh, you even have this little thing set up? That's so awesome.
And you can toss the binder that's on there. It was... You and Adam both came prepared. The last several projects I've done for this, I had to print off scripts for everyone. So I was like, you know what? I'll print the scripts for you too. And you both came with your scripts printed.
I love it.
And so I appreciate it.
I was listening to Joe and Micah's. What Joe is it? Vasquez or Vasquez?
Vasquez, I think.
Yeah, and Micah Sansamore. I was listening to theirs, and it was making me laugh because Joe was like, I just want to start out. I listened to the rehearsal, and she's like, I just want to start out that I hadn't touched this, and I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly. I feel like that gives you like the best raw, like. Your immediate like gut feeling of like what your character is anyways.
Yeah,
it just made me laugh.
It's really it's perfect for her. Okay, yeah. So let's just read it through like you want to read it, whatever makes the most sense to you. Okay. Obviously, as we know, there are lines that just straight up don't work for you, but read it in a way that makes sense for you, and we'll go from there.
Truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be a lot of women. But one of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me how if you want to meet women, theater is the place to be. They're all hot and all the guys are gay, so you have a way better odds if you're straight. The friend who told me this is gay, incidentally, so I Googled auditions in my area, and I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season, so obviously I rushed out, got a haircut, and auditioned. They told me I had a great audition. They're probably disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set. I had a great audition, and they had all these cool shows in the lineup. I was bound to meet a hot lady. But here I am, alone, doing a one-man show by myself. No women. Major bummer.
Okay, so, the central thrust of the character, as this was originally written, is that their whole incentive to get in theater was to meet women. Mm-hmm. This is still maybe a lane we can take, though I don't necessarily think it makes as much sense.
Yeah.
Because I think for lesbian women, there are a lot more avenues outside of, there's a lot more avenues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and maybe this is even a little broad and stereotypical, but I won't even go there. It's the internet is forever. Yeah, you know what? And even though I could cut it later, it's better just not to have to put the time in to cut it. But I think there are more fun things we can do with this.
Yeah.
And so now let me pose the question to you.
Okay.
What do you think is Max's... Why did Max audition for this show?
You know what? I feel like in the script, I feel like Max's confidence is just so low. Like, I feel like they really almost like belittle themselves. Like, they don't really have a sense of belonging. It is what I'm feeling off of this. So I think that Max kind of auditioned and wanted to be a part of the show to like meet people, just because they're kind of self-deprecating, like just the things that they say, and I'm trying to think of a specific example right now, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like Max is just like fine with their life, like they're just okay with doing like the mundane things. Like they're like, oh, I dropped out of college and then I did this and I did that and everything is just fine, like it kind of felt like almost Emily from their town.
Yeah, sure.
I felt a lot of Emily and a lot of Ethan's character. His name is slipping my mind right now, but I felt a lot of similarities between that and this, and the fact that it's just mundane. So I feel like this character was kind of going for a sense of belonging, a sense of just meeting people, community. The same way, like that's why I joined theater. Like that's why I started doing it, because it's a community, and I feel like that also makes this a little bit more personal. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's how I feel.
And I agree with that. I think that's the reason a lot of people get into theater. Is that sense of family and community.
Yeah.
So if we take the very first sentence of this paragraph, truth be told, I auditioned because I was told there would be women. Let's just work through this sentence.
Okay.
truth be told, I auditioned because I was told. Do we want to keep that? Do we want Max's impetus to audition be that someone told him to do it, or excuse me, them to do it, or does that come from an internal place in Max that
I don't think that they were. I don't think he or they, she. I'll stick with they.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really like told anything. I think it's just a thing. I mean, nobody tells you, like, I guess it's kind of expressed to non-theater people. I mean, because it's just a thing in like a theater community where you're like, oh, they're my friend, they're my family. I actually, this is so funny. I went to a dinner party at my boss's house, and one of the guests brought one of their friends, and she kind of hinted at that she does performance, and I go, oh, well, I help out with a lot of community theaters. She's like, you're a theater kid too? And it was just like that instant moment where it's like I had no idea who she was, but we just had that instant family connection. It's like, you get me, I get you.
Alex, I have to ask you a question.
Yeah, what's up?
I have lost my earrings. They're the earrings I literally got last night from Morgan, and I can't find them anywhere.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be a great resource to you. You came in, I was half asleep, and you're like, how do my earrings look? And I didn't even have my glasses on, so I was like, can you lean in? And that was the last I recall of you leaning down to look at me. So, last I saw them, they were right there above the couch. I have no answers beyond that, and I'm sorry. I love you. Okay, so,
yeah, anyways, so I don't think Max was told anything. I think it's just something that, like, they observed.
They heard or observed.
Yeah.
So truth be told, I auditioned because I heard, what did they hear? Or what did they, well, let me do it this way. Would you rather they have heard it or observed it? Or seen it? Or, however we want to word it.
I don't know. I think it's just something that you see. Like,
Okay.
I feel like you see a group of theater kids, or you see that. I love using that phrase.
Yeah.
I feel like you see a group of theater kids, and you're like, oh my gosh, those guys are so crazy, or they're so annoying. But
right, yeah, no, right. But
they just have like a belonging. Yeah, like they just stick together.
So then, if that's the avenue we want to go down, we could say, truth be told, I auditioned because I always saw theater kids having fun, or being obnoxious, or how.
I think
I
saw like a community. I saw a cluster of, people involved with theater, because people who aren't involved in theater don't call it theater kids, I don't think.
Right, no.
So I think it's like I saw a group of people who were doing theater and they were having a bunch of fun or something like that. I don't know.
So, I'm trying to think of the path of least resistance to say that. Truth be told, I auditioned because theater always looked fun.
Yeah.
And then we can move from there
yes.
into the specifics.
Yeah.
Of what
Yeah.
that means. So truth be told,
Looked
I auditioned
fun.
because what did I just say? Because I thought
theater looked fun.
Because I thought it looked fun. Theater looked fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go ahead and pencil that in.
But here's the thing about that too. I don't know if it's because earlier in the script, Max kind of talks about, it's like, oh, I showed up to my friends' shows. I'm actually like an awful theater patron. So maybe it's more of like, less of like theater. I think it's like, because the people, I loved the way my friends had fun in theater. Maybe it's something like that. Because I did say earlier
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. That is something that's true within the text. So in the context of that, maybe we don't have to change it drastically. Truth be told, I auditioned
because maybe one of my friends is doing it.
I auditioned because I wanted to give it a try myself.
Yes, I love that.
All and like the impetus then behind that could be all my friend. all my friends are doing it. They seem to be having fun.
Yes.
Maybe I can
Yeah,
get a piece of that for
I always
myself.
felt like there was something missing, like, or a disconnect between my friends and I. Because, oh man, truth be told, I auditioned because
I thought theater would be fun.
I think it's so funny what ends up getting written. It's like I know what I mean, but if anybody else,
right?
Oh jeez.
So then the next sentence, but one of my friends who does a lot of acting, he was telling me about how if you want to meet women, theater's the place to be. So if the goal of this sentence is to just kind of add further justification, this sentence doesn't align at all with what we have so far. But if we're justifying why they joined theater, it could be what we've said.
Yeah, but one of my friends who does a lot of acting was telling me.
Or I've seen so many of my friends having fun in theater.
Yeah.
I thought I would give it a try.
Yeah. I've seen so many of my friends. In shows.
I've seen so many of my friends in shows.
I think I might write this on like the back of a piece of paper instead. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go on the back of here.
Yep. Do what works best for you.
So, I'm super glad that my voice is back because I had laryngitis 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
I had no voice. I literally couldn't even whisper. And I was thinking on my trip where I was reading the script and like going over it, I was like, how am I going to do this? So I'm so glad that it's back. Okay, so what do we have so far?
Truth be told, I auditioned because I thought theater would be fun.
Truth be told, I auditioned because I thought theater would be fun.
And then I think the next sentence was something along the lines of, all my friends seem to have fun doing theater, so I thought I would give it a try.
Yeah. But I've seen so many of my friends do shows.
Yeah, but I've seen so many of my friends do shows that I thought I would give it a try myself.
I've seen... I would give it a try myself. Perfect. Perfect.
Then we go back to the next sentence. They're all hot and all the guys are gay, so you have way better odds if you're straight. Goal of the sentence essentially trying to be a punchline.
Yeah.
To me, and you can disagree, but I think for me the punchline to these sentences that we have so far is that something along the lines of, at least it seems like they're having fun. They like to say they hate it a lot. Because, because honestly,
Yes.
I don't know anyone who shit talks theater more than theater.
Yes.
kids.
Oh my god, that's so true.
That is the biggest mood I've ever had.
That is 100%
So-
true.
Shit talk the building of Circa, the people of Circa, the atmosphere of Circa, literally all day, every day, and I'd be like, can't wait to go to work.
So yeah,
Come see my show. I love these people. I love this theater. I love everything.
Yeah, it's so to me that I think that's the punchline.
Yes.
is it looks like they're having fun, but they like to say they hate it a lot
Yes.
too. So I don't know.
It looks like.
And I think the next sentence, the friend who told me this is gay, incidentally, I think we can just cut that out, right?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. It references a line that's elsewhere in the script, but I don't think it's that important of a line to reference. So it's easier, I think, just to cut it.
Okay.
And I think the next sentence might still work for us as it's written. So I Googled auditions in my area. I saw this theater was holding auditions for their season.
Yeah.
I think that still works.
Yeah.
The next sentence being, so obviously I rushed out, got a haircut, and auditioned. I don't know how actresses prepare for auditions.
Yeah. I feel like that might, I don't know if Max is like overly eager to like really audition for this though.
Sure.
Where
sure.
I feel like that implies like they're like before, I mean, when they were doing it for the women, that's something that you're like, oh,
you gotta
I
look
got
good.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're, so then,
maybe it's almost like they're more like dragging their feet, maybe. I don't know.
I like that actually. So and holding auditions for their season. I had to psych myself up before I could even walk into the theater or something like that. I like that direction. I think that's a fun way to push in. Did you get any photos?
No.
Would you mind?
I wouldn't.
For the gram, the gram has been not as diverse as I would like it. So Sydney will sneak some candidates while we keep working.
Okay.
There's no need to pose.
I am leaving in literally like.
I know.
2 seconds.
I know.
So
That's
I'm
the
taking
that's
these photos now.
that's the reason I asked.
Because that's exactly what I did yesterday. Was Adam got here and then I had to go. And so,
Oh, no.
So this is exactly what is happening, and I'm absolutely here for it. It's perfect.
So obviously I rushed out, got
I was
a
actually
haircut.
really stoked because I had to like double check and make sure that because some podcasts they do like videos, and I was like, oh god, we're not recording myself. Oh yeah, casual drinking pic.
Well, Alex in this last one is sitting like this on the chair, and so I really had to try and like get chest up, and I didn't want to say, hey Alex, can you sit a different way because you're recording, and I think you're recording now.
Yeah. Yep.
But
We indeed are.
better late than never. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're sitting differently today.
Yeah.
I'm not manspreading.
Oh, we can man spread. That can definitely happen.
Okay, so
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, I love you guys.
Have fun at the grill. Tell everyone I say hello.
I will. I told Kriana, one of these days someone's going to come up to me and ask me if you're real because of how many times you are mentioned but not seen. And Kriana laughed and she said, well, my boyfriend's going to be there. And I was like, he's there every time. They almost expect him to be there.
He's not the ghost of the two.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh god, I freaking love her. She's the best.
She is. I just adore her. So obviously I rush out, got a haircut, and audition. So I had to psych myself up for 30 minutes before I could even walk inside.
I love that. For 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The word 30.
Yeah, I like that specific, because I'm just picturing someone in their car outside of like Toy Crafters being like,
I've literally done that before. I literally done that for 30 minutes before going into auditions.
they told me I had a great audition. Do we want to keep that? Do we want to alter it?
I feel like that's good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. They're probably disappointed with what they got. I think that kind of goes in a line with like a lot of the rest of the script. Like you said, Max is very self-disparaging.
Yeah.
I thought I was set. I had a great audition and I had all these cool shows in the lineup. And this is what I said to Adam, is I don't think someone who's necessarily, even someone who's new to theater even if there's someone who has a lot of friends in theater and has attended a lot of shows, I don't know that they necessarily know what a cool show is. Like, if you saw, like, a lineup and you are relatively new to theater, you would be like, what the hell is the Crucible? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I still do that.
Like, and I think even like, theater nerds sometimes, like, there's just so many shows out there, it's hard to know what a cool show is.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I like the line. They had all these cool shows in the lineup. But I think the intention of the line, that I thought I was set, that Max feeling, you know, confident in that moment. We could still allude to that with I had a great audition and a bunch of my friends had auditioned as well, or like I knew some friends would be working on the show. I think something along that line, so we can still keep the intent of I thought I was set because, you know, of that. Do you have alternatives, or do you think that works? I thought I was set. I had a great audition, and my friends had auditioned as well.
I think it's one of those things too, where like they know that they have friends working on. It's kind of like one of those things where like you go to an audition and like one of your friends auditioning because you tell them to, and they're outside the community and they're like, just audition, you're fine. I think that's one of those things.
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay. Perfect. So they told me I had a great audition. They probably were disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set. So I thought I was set. I had a great audition, and my friends, or they said I had a great audition, and my friends were working on the show.
I think we can just say I had a great audition, or no, because if they're self-disparaging, disparaging. I was told
They told me I had a great audition. They were probably disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set.
I had some friends who would be working, or I had some friends who were auditioning as well. I think that gets us close enough to what we want.
I had some friends who were auditioning as well.
Next line, I was bound to meet a hot lady. What comes to mind as an alternative, I was going to be able to have fun with my friends.
Yeah.
I think that's the same intent. And then we can go into the next few lines. But here I am, alone. I think that still works. Doing a one-woman show. By myself. No friends. Major bummer.
I thought I said I had some friends. I was bound to
have fun with my friends. I was bound to have fun with my friends. There we go.
I was bound to have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Good time, fun with my friends. Something along those lines.
Okay. Friends. Okay. But here I am alone doing a one-woman show by myself, no friends. Major bummer.
Then once you get all that written out, let's just read it all together, see how it sounds to our ears, and if we like it, we'll hop back to the first page and start working through it.
Okay. Okay. So I'll read that all together. I'll kind of lead into it. So, why am I here acting? Glad you asked. Truth be told, I auditioned because I thought theater would be fun. I've seen so many of my friends do shows that I thought I would give it a try myself. And it looks like they're having fun, even though they like to complain a lot about it. So I Googled auditions in my area and saw that this theater was holding auditions for their season. So I had to psych myself up for 30 minutes in my car before even going to the audition. They told me it was a great audition. they're probably disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set. I mean, I had some friends who auditioned as well. I was bound to have a good time with my friends, but here I am, alone, doing a one-woman show by myself. No friends. Major bummer.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that sounds good. I think that's a very good foundation to build on.
Sweet.
All right, so with that being the context of why Max is here in the first place, let's hop back to the first page. And the way we'll do this is, I'm going to treat it like an English course in college, is we're literally just going to treat each page as its own standalone piece. Like
Okay.
if this were the whole show, this one singular page,
Okay.
we're just going to work it,
Okay.
and then we'll just move through it bit by bit.
Okay.
So I think to start off, what we'll do is I'm just going to have you read through this page and then see what notes I have.
Awesome.
I'm going to grab a pencil real quick. Just because this was a problem I ran into with Adam. I wanted to have notes and then I totally forgot to take them. So like Adam, I have to go into this other room and get a pencil.
Sydney! Where's Sydney when we need her?
Okay, I'm back with a pencil, so whenever you're ready,
Okay.
take it away.
All right. Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or dusk. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Regardless of your beliefs on where we stand in time of day, hello, and greetings. So nice to see you all. Well, not all of you. Anyone behind the first row I can only see from the waist up, so I guess I can't see you. Part of you, sure, but not all. So can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you. So it's nice to see you all front row. It's nice-ish to see everyone else. That's the thanks you get for not getting here early enough for the best seats. And they are the best seats. Someone wearing all black handed this to me. A bottle of beer, told me it was my prop. I don't recall rehearsing with this. Oh, wow. Wow, that's good. I should probably take this time to apologize for my appearance. I was in a car accident earlier. Not tonight. About a week ago now. Some would say that a week is enough time to recover and put yourself back together after something like that. As far as I'm concerned, it takes about a week to get over something like that. So I should be put together come tomorrow. Come back then. This is my first time acting. I hope you all bear with me. If I go blank for a little while, it probably means that I forgot a line. Here, I'll demonstrate what that looks like for you so you can be prepared for it. You all may be wondering what this is all about. As far as I can figure out, it's about someone who's had a bad life. Narrows it down, I know. They talk a lot, which I guess is good for a one-person show. The director assured me this is quite normal for theater, so I just kind of took his word on it. My first time acting. This script is kind of weird, and it was an intimate process to get it here tonight. What else? There will be several points tonight where I ask questions of the audience. They're rhetorical, but please feel free to answer them. Whether or not you vocalize that answer is up to you. So what do y'all want? So what do you all want? For me to quote Shakespeare? Wax philosophic? Wane lyrical? Make you think about your past, their future? Maybe you just want me to talk. Who did you think of when I said there? Who are you thinking of now?
Oh, that's so good. I like that. So I realized after you started talking that I forgot to give you the context for the way the episode will sound. I'm trying to. I'm still having fun with experimenting with different ways to like do the way the plays sound. So what I'm doing for this episode is instead of having my typical pre-recorded hi, and thank you for listening to Barely There. What I'm gonna do.
That's great, by the way. You have a great voiceover voice.
Thank you. Instead of doing that, what I'm gonna do for this one is do like one of the. I'm gonna make it sound like you're performing for an audience.
Okay.
Like when you say something that's funny, there will be like an audience laughing at you.
Oh, nice.
So instead of doing my pre-show spiel at the beginning like I normally do, I'm gonna do like one of my Playcrafters like crowd warm-ups, like how y'all doing tonight, and like woo! Yeah, like one of those to make it feel like it's like a live recorded thing.
Oh, I love it.
So that's gonna be I'm gonna do some wizardry on my end after we're done recording to make it sound that way. So you're playing to an audience.
Okay. Okay.
So when you're addressing the people in the top half, those are real people.
Got it.
But as for notes for what you did, we're off to a good start. I think the thing I want to stress is, and you're already doing it, I just want to make you have it be a little broader, is that distinction between Max's Max and Max, because we don't get any of the physicality we could rely on if we were doing it stage where you could slouch, or there are very easy things we could do with our body that can help convey this that we lose completely. So just to it'll feel a little unnatural, but to overdo those differences because that will read much better to the listeners. I want to cut just a couple words and sentences in the first paragraph.
Okay.
So can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, I'm not seeing all of you. So it's nice to see you all, front row. Those two so's at the beginning of those sentences, we can cut the so's.
Okay. Can I say it's nice to see you all? After all, it's nice to see you all, front row. Okay. That's something that drove me crazy as I was rereading this. I was like, man, I love to rely on the word so when I was so. Yeah, it's me when I read back my essays for.
Additionally, the paragraph about halfway down the page, this is my first time acting. I hope you all bear with me. The rest of that, if I go blank for a little while, I want to cut the rest of that paragraph.
Okay.
The reason that was originally in there was when this was a live stage play.
Got it.
I wanted to give the actor an out where if they forgot a line, they could play it off.
Yeah.
But, you're not memorizing this. We have it in front of us, so we don't have to worry about that. You don't need it now. We can just say, this is my first time acting. I hope you all bear with me.
Okay.
Outside of that, I love where we're at already. Okay. Particularly that last sentence on the end. Oh, that was so good. Okay, do you want to do it again, or do you want to move on to the next page?
Let's keep it going.
Okay, great. Next page. So, okay, before we even go through this page, I want to make a slight alteration.
Okay.
This first paragraph, I hope you're having a good time. Through the rest of that paragraph, through hi mom, hi dad, is Max as Max. That's a continuation of...
Okay.
Because Adam pointed out on Sunday that it sounded... The tone didn't, mesh in that paragraph.
Okay, yeah. Perfect.
And then as
you know what's so funny? You can see I literally wrote a question mark because I had a question on that line. Perfect.
So I love that you did, because Adam picked up on the exact same thing. He's like, this doesn't read the same. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's because I forgot to change the characters there. Okay.
Okay.
That's still Max's Max at the top, and then when it starts with that was my line, they're not actually here, that's Max again.
Okay.
Then the rest of the page is just Max talking.
Okay, so Max talking begins with that was my line. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Hi Mom, hi Dad. Oh yeah, hi Mom, if you're listening.
Okay. With that small rewrite in mind, let's just have you read through this page and see what notes I come up with.
I hope you're having a good time with this performance, with your life. I genuinely do mean that. Sometimes it's nice to hear kind words from a stranger. Or half a stranger. You're all strangers to me, except for my parents, who are here tonight. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. That was my line. They're not actually here. I've been coming to theater for years, mainly to support friends, but occasionally I do like what I see. I'm one of those people you hate. I sit in the back on my phone most of the time, but I'm sure to holler and clap and stand during curtain call in my friends' bows. Every now and then, I actually do see a play or musical that's so good it makes me think. Not about the script or the performance or anything, but the work that goes into it. I've always Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good.
Okay. Let me take a drink of water now. I've always wondered when watching shows. I look at the lights and wonder why they are pointed the way they are. Why they're using the colors they are. About why the sound designer picked the music for that scene change. It didn't really work for me. He had to know that when he picked it, that it wouldn't work. But the thing is, I wonder about the most is the actors, the characters. I sit there and I watch them talk and talk and talk. I kind of just glaze over the actual performance. I begin to wonder, where does the actor begin and the character end? How much of a performance is real? There has to be some truth to it, right? Right? Otherwise, what's the point of coming? I could go see a movie just as easily. I'm still going to a theater. I can still claim I'm cultured for doing it. No. There's a reason people still come. There's something to it. When an actor gets up here and performs for you, they're telling you a story. It might be the one that the playwright intended. It probably isn't. There's another monologue about theater later on in the script. It's from the character, not me. I don't really know if I like it, but hey, to each their own. God. Sorry, I still have some of that nasty whiplash from that accident. I've heard that this can come and go for years, so I'm looking forward to this. The guy who hit me was a real ass. Ran a red light. Ugh. Oh well. I lived, didn't I? Now you're probably wondering about this character I'm playing, right? Seems kind of weird, sort of off. Well, truth be told, there was this big monologue at the beginning explaining why they are the way they are. Truth be told again, when I came out here and saw that I was actually about to perform for people for the first time, I panicked. I skipped right over the opening monologue. You all had no idea until I told you that I skipped the opening monologue. I just went back until I told you that I did that. Oh, good one. Okay, so I'm going to double back and do that quick bit and then jump back to where we are in the story. Please pretend that I didn't tell you all I skipped it. Ugh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. God, what... Yeah, I love you and Adam so much. Because you guys will read through a whole page and I'll have very few notes and I just love that you guys are... God,
oh my gosh, so stop.
I have... Okay, so in the second paragraph, okay. I've been coming to theater for years. There's a couple things I want to replace the emphasis on. Okay. I've always wondered when watching shows... really punch that wondered, kind of make it an active verb. Okay. And then when you get to the next line, you can bounce on to the next. I look at the lights and wonder why they are pointed the way they are. And then a couple sentences later about why the sound designer picked that. Really punch that music because it's just... Whatever they picked was just that like... It was music. Like the chicken dance or something. Yeah. Like, you're like, what the fuck? Why did they pick that? Are you kidding me? So just really hit that.
That didn't work for me.
God, you're just coming at Okay. Let's do this paragraph one more time just
Okay.
to kind of get those
Okay.
those notes in place, and then we'll keep moving.
That was my line. They're not actually here. I've been coming to theater for years, mainly to support friends, but occasionally I do like what I see. I'm one of those people you hate. I sit in the back on my phone most of the time, but I'm sure to holler and clap and stand during the curtain call and my friends' bows. Every now and then I actually do see a play or musical that's so good, it makes me think. Not about the script or the performance or anything, but about the work that goes into it. I've always wondered when watching shows. I look at the lights and wonder why they are the way they are, why they're using the colors they are, about why the sound designer picked that music for that scene change. It didn't really work for me. He had to know that when he picked it, that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think that sounds much better.
Perfect.
I think you did.
Yeah, that definitely changed. I've always wondered. I love that.
Okay, let's move to the next page.
Okay.
And if you, because I gathered you've written notes and questions for yourselves within your script. At any point, if you're reading through and you're like, I have a question about this, feel free to stop yourself and ask.
Okay.
That's what this time is for.
Awesome.
I want your feedback and input as we go. So as things come up, if they do, shout them out.
Okay.
Okay, let's just keep moving. Top of page 4.
All right. Hello, all. My name is Max. My last name doesn't really matter. It could be yours coincidentally, but it's mine incidentally. I never went to college, and I never dropped. I never dropped out of high school. But it's mine incidentally. I never went to college, and I dropped out of high school. Growing up, I moved 13 times. I don't mean houses either, but moving homes. Having to relearn the accent I should talk with, the lingo I should use. For example, what do you call a building is opposite another on a street corner? I call it catty corner. People out east call it kitty corner. People down in Texas call it the one next to the gun store. 13 times is a lot to move. It's even more when you're split between parents. Dad went one way, Mom went another. They flipped a coin each year to see who got me. I moved 13 times, so I never made friends. I wasn't good at it. I was good at making people think we were friends. I got really good at conning them. You'd be amazed how much people will... You'd be amazed at how much people will bet on a coin toss. $10? Their kid? It was high school that I realized I had a knack for taking people's money. So I decided to leave, headed for the mountains, where the trees touch the sky and the people are foolish enough to touch the sky as well. The first thing I noticed about the mountains was the rain. It rains different up there. Sideways and up. It's as if that's how rain was supposed to travel, and it puts on a spectacle for those of us watching. The clouds seem confused, we're so close. That reminds me of this vacation I took to the mountains a while back. I say vacation, but really my roommate wanted to go. We go up there in the winter. He was big into snowboarding. I wasn't. One particular night, I went out for a few drinks. I hit up one of the local bars, same as every other night. A real hole in the wall. There's nothing like drinking in tourist towns. These bars have everything. Even the angry drunks will tell you a funny joke. Beer's out. Be right back. Hello? Hello? Hey, lady. Guy? Hey, person in black, where do you keep all the terrible beer? Oh, never mind, I found it. This stuff is truly terrible, but I gotta quench my thirst somehow. You would think that water would be the drink of choice, but the only liquid I can find is a nice, soothing beer. it's weird. Before I got started, it was buzzing with activity back there. People getting dressed, stagehands running around in black, but it's empty now. Seems like I'm the only one here.
I hate how easy you're making my job for me. Yeah. Okay. So the one thing I want to kind of highlight on this page and do a little differently is the second to last paragraph. Hello,
Okay.
hello, hey lady, guy. That hey lady guy. So what that is right before Max walks on stage, someone handed them a beer bottle.
Okay.
And as you're like trying to recall, you're like, oh yeah, it was a lady. No, it was
guy?
because it's
Lady?
This is the first hint that
Got
something's
it.
not quite right
Yes.
in this theater.
Yes.
And so that's you, like, the more you try to think about who handed you this beer, the more you're like,
Wait.
I have no clue who that.
Hey, lady. Wait. Guy? Hey, person in black.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
that's the only thing you know for certain is because they're a crew person.
Yeah, yeah.
They're wearing black.
They're wearing black. Oh, I
And so because this is
freaking
the
love
first
this
hint
show.
that something's really off, I just want to make sure that that hey lady guy,
Okay.
we kind of linger on that beat for a moment to really kind of be like, wait,
Okay.
what's happening?
Okay. There it is.
And something you just did instinctively, and I don't want you to change it because it was good, but I do want to highlight that you did it on your own.
Okay.
Is Max's Max is generally condescending, I feel, to the audience. Like
Yeah.
the play within the play is like very antagonistic towards the imagined audience.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Max's Max, does seem to really connect with is nature. And so when you got to the headed for the mountains where the trees, your tone shifted just oh so slightly, where it was more kind of affectionate.
Like a
I was
storytelling.
Yeah, I was like, you just instinctively got that. And so that's really good. I
Okay,
like that you
awesome.
kind of shifted tones there because I do agree with that Max's Max does have a very negative outlook on people
Yeah.
for I think justified reasons.
Yeah.
And so I think that connecting with nature and the mountains, that does make sense for the
Can I
character.
say something that I
Yeah.
kind of felt like when I was reading?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Max's Max, almost like the way that I'm reading it or the way that it reads in my mind is because later in the script it's one of those like where does the character end and the actor begin?
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of one of those things where like just especially at the end where it almost felt like Max's Max is like a voice of God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the voice of. So when I'm reading this, I kind of feel like a worship leader. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
where it's like they get to the climax, and there were mountains.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of what
yeah.
it feels like
And
to me. And I'm feeling that more as I'm reading and the pace and the difference.
mm-hmm.
And I think that helps me like kind of like
break it up a bit.
Yeah.
And I love that you picked up on that because absolutely, as the script does go on, we see this struggle between actor and character coming to clash, contact, opposition more and more and more as the script goes on. And so I love, you're there within the context of the show. It is a character playing a character, but I think particularly as we get to the end of the show, we realize that the character is their own distinct person. And I like.
There's so much depth to this,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Oh my god, I could literally go on about this forever.
And the first.
I'm so excited for you, me, and Adam to get together because we're gonna go down so many rabbit holes that we don't need to.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'm almost more excited for the three of us getting together.
I know.
For the rest of it.
I know.
Because it's the first time this show was ever staged. My wonderful friend Christine directed it. And it was like one of her first times directing anything, and she crushed it. I don't know how, because like as I was working through this with Adam, I was like, God, this script is dense. This is not an easy script. So if you're listening, Christine, kudos to you yet again.
Yeah.
This is not. This
Give
is
it
not
up
an
for
easy script.
Christine.
Yeah, she's. Okay, I think. Okay, we can move on to the next page.
All right.
Um.
All right.
I don't think I have any things I want to say before you get into it. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I don't have anything written down, Okay. Are any of you here with me on this lovely evening? How many are you at home? Okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm sounding like Delilah. Like, like on what I think it's 96.1.
Yep, that's Delilah.
Delilah.
Delilah always drives me crazy because someone will call in and they'll be like, "Yeah, my fiance has been cheating on me."
I know.
And Delilah's like, "Here's what you need to do. You need to get married so he stops cheating on you." And I'm like, Delilah, this is not the advice to be giving these people. Like, most of the time she gives advice that I'm like, no.
I know.
I would like call
And
it
the
and be like,
people
don't do
calling
it.
are in the worst situations where I'm like, this is like public broadcasting, right?
Right, yeah. Like, I think I heard one time where someone called in and they're like, yeah, my wife's pregnant, but it's not mine, or like something like that. And I was like, well, you guys are married, so it's yours now. Or like, it was just like, I was like, oh my God, Delilah.
Oh, that is so true. Oh my God.
And she, there's also another time where Delilah drives me crazy. But I think she mentioned she has like 12 adopted kids or something. I'm like, okay, that's hoarding. That's not raising children.
Yeah.
That's hoarding children at this point. No one needs to adopt 12 children. That's so
There's
many.
enough adopted children to go around.
Let other people adopt some of your 12 kids. Anyway,
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. Are any of you here with me on this lovely evening? How many of you are at home with your bills, your pets, your life? How many of you hung your troubles at the door and just came for a quality night of theater? That's one thing that bothers me. We go out to avoid our problems. Tell me the last time you went out to a movie. Was it to get away, or was it to be reminded of your problems? To get away. Why else would you go? But now, the last one might not be... Oh. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
But real quick while we're paused, that sentence you were about to read, I do want to cut because I don't think I should take the sentence now.
The capes and superpowers and robots?
No, the last one might not be a movie soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we can cut it. I don't know. We're not that close to the robot apocalypse, so I don't like the sentence anymore.
Okay. Cut. All right. But now it's all capes and superpowers and robots taking over the world. We can go to the movies to see life bigger and brighter than it possibly can be. But any time you go to a theater anymore, it's all depressing. I think it's hard to watch, but I guess people like these types of stories. Else theaters wouldn't be selling tickets as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing. Theater is magical that way. It can transport you to whole new places, teach you new things. It can teach you to appreciate what you have in your life. You may not have as much as your neighbor or that one dreamy movie star, but you have enough for yourself. Movie and television tell you to want more. Theater tells you to be happy with what you have because it could always be worse. You could be a pair of star-crossed lovers doomed to die, or a salesman doomed to die. Maybe that's why people like fiction. No one ever dies. Sure, Romeo and Juliet take the big sleep at the end of the tale, but by the next night they're resurrected, born to die again, and again, and again. I think Romeo and Juliet are still dying long after you and I are dust. Cheating death must be the magic of stories. I don't know if I agree with all that. What about all the characters in all the forgotten novels? They're dead now too, right? Seems to me characters are just as mortal as people. You would know. Hello? Did you all hear? Sorry. I thought God. Do you ever have those dreams that just stick with you? You wake up and it still feels like you're dreaming? Well, that's where I'm at right now. I remember glass breaking. Sorry. Back to the story.
And then we'll say that's the end of the page
Okay.
there, because the next line
Awesome.
runs down the next page. Good. The end of the first paragraph.
Okay.
But I guess people like these types of stories, else theaters wouldn't be selling as well as they are.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing.
Is that?
Much more sarcastic.
I was gonna say,
because theater.
ticket
As much
sales
as
are
I would
just
love to say
skyrocketing.
As much as I would love to say that theater sales are skyrocketing, it seems to be going in the opposite direction. For whatever reason, I think theater has to have a reckoning and figure out how to connect to audiences again, because
Yeah.
ticket sales are not what I think they should be for the medium. But so more sarcastic there.
Okay.
The you would know, the way that's going to sound is when we go through to record it, just make that a very almost quiet and slow whisper, because what I'm going to do is echo it and make it sound like it's coming from everywhere. So it almost like it sounds like it's echoing from above, like the voice of God, to kind of go back to what you were saying earlier. So this is more of that ghostly supernatural stuff starting to creep back in.
Gotcha.
Halfway down the second paragraph, there's a typo. Movie and television tell you to want more. Movies and television tell you to want more. I didn't even catch that when I was going through it with Adam, so whoops. But it's fine. It's fine.
I don't know if I said movie or movies. I probably just said.
I think that sounded good.
Okay.
Any thoughts, questions, lingering comments on this page?
No, I just love the Max is Max coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot to put that little part in. That was super sneaky. As Max is Max. That one was a sneaky one. But no, I just love that it's coming through. Now, I almost feel like Max is being a little like the Max playing Max is almost trying to be condescending when talking about theater being magical.
Mm-hmm. That's, I think,
because
I like
they
that,
don't
actually.
like theater. Theater is just magical that way.
Yes, I love that. I love that you're pulling that out, because I think that also adds a nice contrast to Max, not as Max, but just Max, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
Their incentive to do this in the first place was because they don't necessarily love it, but they think they might.
Yeah.
You know, it looks fun to them.
Yeah.
And so I think this, to add that condescension to theater is magical that way, I think that provides a nice contrast, because if you're an actor having to play a character who hates doing the thing you love, what does that do for your performance?
Yeah.
I think that's, I love that you picked up on that, because I didn't even think of that. That's really good. I think this whole paragraph, theater is magical that way. I think let's do that again, because I want to explore this idea more.
Yeah.
I love that you touched on this. So let's just do this paragraph again.
Theater is, hold on, let me get into it.
Yeah.
But I guess people like these types of stories, else theaters wouldn't be selling as well as they are. Ticket sales are just skyrocketing. Theater is magical. Let me think about the way I want to say this now.
Maybe if you really slow down the word magical, that'll let you...
It's magical.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, there you go.
It can Yeah. Ooh, so good. Okay. Theater is magical that way.
Yeah, there you go. There's that
It can
spark.
transport you to whole new places, teach you new things. It can teach you to appreciate what you have in your life. You may not have as much as your neighbor or that one dreamy movie star, but you have enough for yourself. Movies and television tell you to want more. Theater tells you to be happy with what you have, because it could always be worse. You could be a pair of star-crossed lovers doomed to die, or a salesman doomed to die. Maybe that's why people like fiction. No one ever dies. Sure, Romeo and Juliet take the big sleep at the end of the tale, but by the next night, they're resurrected, born to die again, and again, and again. I think Romeo and Juliet are still going to be dying long after you and I are dust. Cheating death must be the magic of the story, of stories.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I love
fun.
that you brought that up. That's so much more dynamic and compelling.
Awesome.
Great observation.
Great writing.
and this is this is what I am having such a blast with this project, because I'm trying not to bring too much of what Adam did into what you're doing, because you guys are doing such drastically different things.
Really? Oh my god, I'm so really excited.
Like this is a tone we did not even really allude to with Adam. Like, he has a completely different... I'm so excited for us to get together, because I'm just having a blast.
I can't wait for me and Adam. He's going to be like, I did this, and I'm be like, oh.
Okay. All right, gushing over. We can keep moving. Let's take it from the bottom of the page.
I know, this has just turned into one big gush fest. Enough of okay, my favorite line from Joe and Micah's episode, I think it was Micah, or maybe it was you. You're like, enough with the circle jerk. That's what this has turned into.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, let me get back into it. Okay.
Bottom of 5.
Okay. Make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay. One of my favorite things to do is listen when people talk. And I don't mean when they're talking about anything remotely important. I mean the conversation they make to fill air, kill time. They say such little things that seem so insignificant, but when they're put down on paper, wow. For example, I was sitting at the bus stop the other day, and this pair of friends was there. It was the middle of summer, and it was unbearably hot. The clouds had just rolled in, and the sun was still trying its best to shine through, giving us this lovely midday twilight. When you feel awake, but you could settle for a nap, it started raining. That light drizzle that leads into a crisp breaking rain. You could smell the energy in the air, that crisp copper smell. One of the friends says to the other, "It could all be over by 4." And she was right. The storm could have been over by 4. She wasn't, for the record. It kept raining until at least 8 that night. So, it goes to show, don't get your forecast from a pair of strangers at a bus stop in the rain. But years later, this still sticks out in my mind. It could all be over by 4. It could all be over by 4. It could be. The storm. Your streak of bad luck. your shift at work, hell, even your life. Cut off in traffic on the way to work, another victim of a fatal motor vehicle incident. Scream.
And then, so this scream is, we'll do the scream at the very, very end after you're done recording. What that is that's going to be your own scream that you're hearing, and it's going to be like echoed
so
and played
chilly.
back over you. So we'll have you scream at the very end of the day. I don't want to hurt your voice before.
Okay.
Then. So that's what that sound cue is. It's your own, you're hearing yourself scream, and you're like, that. So that's incredibly disorienting. Because you. I mean, I can't even.
Can you imagine how creepy it would be to like hear your own scream?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that I can picture that going into this.
Yeah.
Okay, you all heard that, right? That's not a part of the show, or if it is, we never rehearsed it. Is it me, or is the air getting a little thin in here? Ooh, sorry about that. I just, sorry. Got really dizzy. Where was I? Anyone? Thank you. Before we go on, I'd like to say the sky, my character, has a point to this whole memory thing. I think it's really cool what little bits you can play, or what little bits you can recall just like that. I remember playing with toys as a kid, eating a sandwich on lunch break, walking down the hall in 4th grade. I could tell you all about me playing with toys as a kid, but you don't give a crap. I could explain it perfectly, and it still wouldn't matter. But that's fine. That's my memory, for me to keep. Finders keepers. Okay, sorry, I'll get back to... it could all end by 4 strokes of a chime vehicle. Yes, alright, next. No. I'm gonna take some time for me. Okay, I told you all about the character earlier through the playwright's words. I never told you about me. My name is Max, ironically. That's ironic, right? I was never good with words. I didn't move much as a kid. Stuck to the same town, went to the same schools as all my friends, all the way through high school. Graduated, went to college, decided it wasn't for me and dropped out. Got a decent job, moved and got a better job, made some friends, auditioned for this. Now we're here. Oh, and I got hit by a car. That too. But that's a small road bump, a pretty normal life, a nice life, a good life. So why am I here acting? Glad you asked.
And we'll call that the page.
Perfect.
I want to do a small rewrite.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'll get back. It could all end by 4 strokes of the chime vehicle. That middle one, 4 strokes of the chime. I think that's from the original draft. I think that might have been what that is. That whole line is that's you trying to rush through your lines to try to remember where you are. So it's like, okay. It's kid on it for
4 strokes of chime
vehicle.
Like,
okay. So
okay.
It's that process of like you're like trying to like speed through your own lines to be like, where the fuck am I?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, and so that moment when you're standing on stage and you know the line that's coming up and you're like, oh, hold on, I need to give myself my own cues. Da 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 da. Okay, got it. So that's what that is. Towards the top of that paragraph.
Okay.
Where was I? Anyone? Let that hang in the air for a minute, like you were waiting for the audience to give you your line.
Yeah. Anyone?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Just that. Great. Appreciate the help. And then
I love awkward pauses.
yeah. So milk that, and I might even add in like someone in the audience going like coughing or like something. Just so like really.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Take all the time you need in that pause. And then the final.
Oh, that's always awkward when there is like an awkward pause like that in a theater. I remember during She Kills Monsters, there was an awkward. I don't know if there was a line missed or it was just an awkward pause, and in the background we just hear. We're like, come on, we're fighting dragons on stage. How much more exciting could live theater be?
Yeah, particularly that show. The final note I have for this page is towards the top of the page. For example, I was sitting at this bus stop the other day, and this pair of friends was there. Make that word of friends like a really just kind of dirty word, because I don't think Max's Max has friends.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the type of person to consider anyone a friend.
Yeah.
So when they see people who are friends, they're like, losers.
Yeah.
And so I think
yeah, because Max is kind of like this higher power, where like they think that
they're above everyone else.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think when
they have this like insight.
Yeah. They're really knowledgeable, and and so
as the mountains touch the skies and the clouds.
Yeah.
Delilah.
Yeah. Do you want to run any of that again, or do those notes kind of make sense?
Let's let me do it could all end at four strokes of the chime vehicle, or 4 strokes of the chime vehicle.
So that
yes.
4 strokes of the chime changed to bad luck, because that's actually one of your lines.
Okay, bad luck.
That will make it feel more like you're trying to give yourself your cues.
At 4, bad luck, vehicle. Yes. All right. Next. No. I'm gonna take some. I'm gonna take
some time for me.
I'm gonna take some time for me. All right, I told you. Okay, perfect. No, I think that's good.
Okay, great. Then let's take it to the next page.
Okay.
And this is where our new paragraph comes in.
Truth be told, I auditioned because I thought it would. Blah, 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 blah. Truth be told, I auditioned because I thought theater would be fun. I've seen so many of my friends do shows, and I thought that I would give it a try myself. I mean, it looks like they're having fun. They like to complain about it a lot, though. So I Googled auditions in my area and saw this theater was holding auditions for their season. I had to psych myself up for like 30 minutes in my car before my audition. They told me I had a great audition. They are probably disappointed with what they got. I thought I was set. I had some friends who auditioned as well. I thought I was bound to have a good time with my friends. But here I am, alone, doing a one-woman show by myself. No friends. Major bummer. I've completely lost track of where I was. Ever since I came out and skipped the first few pages, I've lost all sense of what way is up, and there's some more speeches and scenes from the character, but I'm having a really hard time concentrating. It can't be the beer. I've only had like 1.5. There's one speech I actually really liked. I can't remember for the life of me right now. There was something about how we're all tin men walking around with steel skeletons and straw flesh. I wish I could remember it. Oh, man. I think I'm so disheveled at tomorrow's performance. This is getting ridiculous. What? That's bizarre. It seems I can't find my pulse. Or my heart? Am I? Death doesn't occur the way you expect. It's always quick. People think of death in hospital beds, long periods of time where you suffer and wither away. That's dying. Dying is long and painful and happens the moment we are born. Death is quick. It's instantaneous. The brain realizes it has reached its expiration date, and it fires on all cylinders. You feel free and happy. Some people claim they've died and come back. They describe your life flashing before your eyes. It doesn't work that way. When you die, you create the world you live in. I hear something. If we spirits have offended, think but this, and all is mended. No, that's not me. Saying that. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your pity. My head is killing me. To be or not to be? That question has been done a bit to death, hasn't it? Someone help me. Okay, this part I'm a little bit confused about.
Perfect. Yep. No. Good. So we'll call this the end of the page.
Okay.
And what this is is when the actor and the character are finally like connecting and butting heads against one another.
Yeah.
It's Max is what's happening with Max.
Yeah.
Is they're starting to recall the car accident they've been in.
Yeah.
And what Max is doing is kind of goading them, helping them along, making fun of them, kind of tormenting them while they're realizing this.
Okay.
So the way
I never thought about torment. Okay.
So the way when we go through to record this is I want all the Max lines you to read back to back. So I hear screaming, no, that's not me saying that. My head is killing me. And then that someone help me, that's almost like a scream, a cry for help directed at the audience. Like, because you're, at this point, you're fully bugging out.
Yeah.
Like, you have lost control. And all of Max's lines, I'll have you do back to back. If we spirits have offended, think but this and all is mended. Friends, Roman, countrymen, lend me your pity. To be or not to be. A bunch of Shakespeare collapsing on top of itself. And so what I'm going to do with those lines is have them almost overlapping, so it's like the actor is cutting the character off, and so when I have you record it, I'll have you record Max's together, and then Max's together, and then I will intersperse these in a pace that I think helps convey the stress of what's happening. So with
I love that. Oh God,
and
so
also,
good.
The way I want to do it this way is to help with your performance. Is the Max.
I wasn't sure if it was like tormenting or if it was like comfort.
I think it's tormenting Max because I think particularly as it goes on, Max somewhere has a line of like, you excited? You get to do this night after night, and I think Max is really. I
love that
because
when I was reading it, I was like, because I was reading it as comfort, and I was like, oh, like. What is it? Like, that's not very comforting. Mm-hmm. And that was why I had, like, a little question mark. Oh, so good.
And so, having you read the lines just through as Max, I want them to build. I hear screaming. No, that's not me saying that. Oh, my head is killing me. Someone help me. Build each of those, but I want you to keep Max's Max kind of at that same level where they're, like, on the outside poking in. So, like, that way... it'll be easier for your performance to build the intensity with one and keep the other at the same, as opposed to like trying to hop back and forth between the two. That would just be that would be if we were doing this on stage, we would have to figure out how to navigate that. But we don't have to do that because we have the power of editing. So so you can focus on the build with Max and then go through and just read the Max's Max lines and kind of keep the tone of those even though the rest of these are getting frantic, and that will help A, make the voices feel distinct, and B, kind of add to the panic of, like, one character's losing control and the other is asserting dominance.
Oh, it's so genius. This is so genius.
So let's have you do just this last chunk one more time, do the Max lines, and then do the Max's Max lines to kind of get a feel of what those will feel like.
Okay. Where do you want me to go from?
Let's just do from I Hear Screaming.
Okay. So you just want me to do the Max lines?
Yeah, so like back to back Max lines, then take a beat, and then do Max to Max back to back.
I hear screaming. No, that's not me saying that. Oh, my head is killing me. Someone help me. Please, anyone, if I had a heart attack here on stage, would any of you help? Or would you think that it's part of the act? Is there a doctor in the house? Show of hands. If you could help me if my heart or who here could help me if my heart stopped? That's comforting. Are any of you even there?
All right. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
And then, that was one more Max line than I initially wanted you to read, but hearing you build it that way, let's keep that for the recording, because I liked that build from Someone Help Me into Please Anyone.
Okay.
That sounded really natural.
Okay.
We'll keep that. And then we'll get back to that Max's Max paragraph. But then let's just do this trio of Max's Max lines.
Okay.
The Shakespeare starting with.
Okay, just a Shakespeare.
If we spirits have offended, and ending with to be or not to be.
Okay. If we spirits have offended, think but this, and all is mended. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your pity. To be or not to be, that is the question that has been done a bit to death, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I that tone is just going to contrast so wonderfully against your panic. That's going to sound delightful. And so then, okay. Questions, thoughts about this page? Anything we want to run or discuss further?
No, it's just so evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's so evil.
It's October, the spoopy month.
It is a spoopy month. Okay.
And so then, as we go on to page 8, this first Max line, Please Anyone, we're just going to roll that into the last page. So as you're reading... I hope this doesn't get too confusing. So as we're reading, this Max's Max line will almost be... not quite continuous. Also, there's one line I want to alter on this page before we even get into it.
Okay.
The first Max's Max line, towards the bottom of their line, each night an actor has to die. Change has to die to dies.
Each night an actor
dies. That has to take something out of them. Basically the same meaning. I think it just flows a little better.
Each night an actor dies. That has to take something out of them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the only...
Okay, and so do you want me to just go, so take something out of them, and then do you want me to go back to the Max's Max line? Just go straight into the second Mac, or I guess the third Max's Max line on that page?
Yeah.
And just skip the Please Anyone?
Yeah, and give it like a second beat so that way I can cut it in, because I still want the lines to flow out this way, but I think the way you did it will help you get the intensity where you need it to be for the line.
Okay.
So we will skip the line while we're recording it.
Okay.
We'll probably, once we get to this part of the recording, we'll probably just take a beat and kind of break ourselves out and work our way through it just to make sure we get it right. But yeah, so you'll give yourself like a second, and then you'll just move it in the next line. A death in the family is always hard to swallow.
Okay.
And then...
a death in the family is always hard to swallow. Oh, it's so good. Especially when it's your own.
Yeah. The bottom of the page, the second to last paragraph that ends with, "For just 3 seconds, my life is in order." That's where we'll stop this quote-unquote page, because that last paragraph is very, 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 very dense, and so we're just going to treat it as its own page.
Okay.
So go through, start with "Sorry about that, folks," and end with "My life is in order."
Okay.
Read that through and see what we come up with.
Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes I forget my lines and just throw out the first thing that comes to mind. I'm back now. Where does the actor end and the character begin when Oops, sorry. Let me start over. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes I forget my lines and just throw out the first thing that comes to mind. I'm back now. Where does the actor end and the character begin? When a show closes, how much of a character does an actor take home with them? How much of an actor gets taken with the character? Each night, an actor dies. That has to take something out of them. A death in the family is always hard to swallow. Finding out you're the lucky one to pass is even harder. Hey, Max. It's Max. Sad to see you go. Look on the bright side. We get to keep doing this again, night after night after night. Think of all the rediscovery we get to do. Each night is a new miracle. First, I find out there's only room temp beer. Then I'm dead. What a day I'm having. Are you there, God? It's me, Max. I remember. It's funny the things you remember. Not your life flashing before your eyes, just your life right up until the end. I remember picking up my keys. I remember getting in the car. I remember driving down the street. I'm on my way to rehearsal. I take a left, a right, a straightaway. I pull up to the red light. It's funny. I remember every detail after leaving the house. The clock on my dashboard reads 6:27 p.m. Everything is so clear, so precise, so perfect. It's a beautiful day. The sun is setting. It's like the world is daring me to stop and relax for just 3 seconds. My life is in order.
Okay, and that'll be the end of the page.
Perfect.
I think that sounded really good.
Okay.
I thought of a note, but it's technically for the last page.
Okay.
The first max paragraph of the page, please, anyone, if I had a heart attack. Who here could help me if my heart stopped? Put in another one of those awkward pauses there, where you wait for the audience. That's
comforting.
Yeah. And so the actor can be antagonistic to the audience. But that's a note for the last page. The very last sentence, for just 3 seconds, my life is in order. Take 3 seconds between 3 seconds and my life is order, where there's that pause.
My life is in order.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
To have that be there of just 3 seconds of total calm, my life is in order, and then all the craziness will happen. As a bit of context, I don't know if this will help your performance or not. This is more or less what I recall my own car accident. All of this, where I was on my way to Playcrafters rehearsal, and the way I get there from here is I take a right, a left, a right, and that's a straightaway, and then I get to the red light of Avenue of the Cities, and that's where I got hit. So this is what I remember. The following paragraph, who's to say whether or not that's memory or imagination? Because once I've hit, my brain shut all that off. Thankfully for me.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
But on the context of that, I pulled it from somewhere, so who's to say?
Insert awkward laugh.
So every script I write is in some way, shape, or form me,
like a satirical, like
kind of me. It's me processing my own anxieties and troubles with the world.
Yeah.
This is me processing the thought of, like, what if I had died that night and my soul had gotten freaking stuck in the theater.
And stuck in Playcrafters.
You know what I mean? Like,
forever.
I wasn't, like, acting in a show at the time. I was doing a totally different job.
Yeah.
But the way I reimagined it was like, how would that feel if, like, you know what I mean?
What
if
a
you're
great
going to work on a
concept.
show and you end up becoming the theater ghost.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, shit. Now I'm the one haunting this building?
I know. Now you're the one turning the lights on mysteriously at night.
And so that
yeah, I'd be fucking pissed too. I would be the one coming over the sound and being like, "You fuckers, I'm stuck here and you get to go home."
You shouldn't have cast me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the initial place that the script came from.
Yeah.
So as a little bit of, I guess, a dramaturgical perspective on it. Okay, so this last chunk, and then green lights glass. Rather than having you try to read it through, I'm going to talk it through first, because there's a lot going on in here. And then green lights glass, 1,000 paper cuts, I'm so warm, it feels like I'm being covered in blankets. That's a phrase. That's the first phrase of this whole piece.
Okay.
That's you establishing what's just happened, even though you still fully aren't aware of what's happened.
Okay.
That's...
So do I know what's happening when I say for 3 seconds my life is in order? Do I know what's about to happen?
No, I think it's...
So it's more like, instead of, because I think I kind of read it more bittersweet, like, for 3 seconds my life is in order. Instead it's like more like, oh, my life is in order.
I think it's...
And then boom.
It's... Yeah, I think it's that moment of, like, kind of just, like, when you're, like... You know, those... I don't know, everyone's... I was about to say everyone's mental illness treats them differently, but not everyone's mentally ill. But I will have moments where it's like basically the clouds part and the sun shining through. Mm-hmm. And what I think of this moment as is those 3 seconds is, you know, those moments are like usually out of your control. Yeah. For whatever reason, that's when they come to you.
Yeah. And
I think that's what that moment is that for whatever reason, it's like, oh cool, all the...
Yeah, things are just working out.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to have fun at a theater. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's just that, like, random point.
Yeah, and then I think it's that it's bittersweet in the sense that, like, in that moment that, like, they go through the intersection, that, like, someone else ruins that moment for them. That they come through and hit the door of their car. So I think it's... For 3 seconds, my life is in order. They have absolutely no preconception of what is about to happen to them. Mm-hmm. That's just a very unfortunate coincidence that they happen to be happy right before they get fucking pulverized by a car.
Pulverized.
I mean, that's. I don't know if I've talked with you about what my accident was, but that's essentially what it was. It was a semi that was bearing an extra
it was
a semi bearing an extra large load. Like, its load was too big to be in city limits. It should have been on a highway.
Oh my god.
And they were trying
to... Do you sue them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I can't get into the specifics.
Okay.
I absolutely cannot get into the specifics.
I cannot go on the internet
because of legal repercussions. I might even cut that out. But it's fine. But it was the stars aligned in a very weird way, where there was actually a cop who happened to be watching the intersection at that time. So the moment they ran the red light, I had already won the case, my medical beer. Even though what happened to me was like awful.
Yeah.
I was almost immediately taken care of in a sense because like my medical bills would be covered.
Oh, thank God.
A lot of stuff worked out for me, and that I don't know how.
That is so
absolutely
awful.
Stupid. But they were trying to catch the green light. They weren't even close because they ran a red light going 45 miles an hour. And I was the first car in line. And at the Avenue of the Cities, there's like, it's a 2 lanes to like go through the intersection. I was in the left lane. So I was the car to get hit. And they struck, I wish I had a picture of my car.
Oh my God.
They struck the driver's door of my car.
Yeah.
And I, at the time, was driving a 94 Nissan Maxima. And I don't know how many 90s cars you've been in, but a few of them have these awful contraptions, automatic seatbelts, where you would close the door and they would like come up and like lock in. But there would also be like lap belts. Then you were supposed to buckle the lap belt because this was not, just this on its own is not technically a seatbelt.
Yeah.
But because of who I was, 18 at the time, I was not wearing my lap belt. Which is what saved my life, because these things were so shitty that really with like a little bit of effort you could just pull and they would pop out.
Yeah.
So when my driver's door got hit, I essentially just kind of like flopped over from this seat to this seat. Like, because my seatbelt immediately disconnected, so there was nothing to keep me in the chair that was about to be crushed by 45 miles of semi. So I just kind of got like
booped into the other seat.
Yep.
I love booped.
And that's
so horrible.
So there was a lot of stars that aligned in a very weird way that my accident ultimately turned out okay for me.
Yeah. Well, not okay, but better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even better. That's so awful.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. But so that's that's the context for where this last paragraph comes from.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to capture with this is how in that moment, and maybe I do remember more of it than I care to admit, it's you're not at all processing things in a rational, logical A to B sense. Mm-hmm. Because when we're going about our day to day, we think of things very linearly. Like, I'm
I
doing
do
this now,
this
I need
and
to do
do
this later, I
that,
need to do
yeah.
this later.
Yeah.
But like when you suffer like a brain injury,
Right.
your brain, it immediately scrambles everything.
Yeah.
Like, you don't process things the way you normally do.
Right.
Like, you're here all at
Yeah.
once.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what's happening in this last paragraph. If I was
When I was reading this, it was almost like pictures flashing. It's so weird how it's almost like I was picturing an actor on stage, and then like I saw like different angles of like this actor just like processing it at the time. It's yeah.
And I love that's what you vision, because that's really what I'm trying to go for. If I were writing this again, the way I would honestly probably structure it is each of these lines would probably be like its own standalone line to really convey how fragmented it is.
Yeah.
But I wrote it as one big paragraph, so that's what we have to contend with.
Yeah.
So to get back to basics.
Yeah.
And then green lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm, it's like I'm being covered in blankets. That's the first phrase. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. My neck hurts. How'd I get in the passenger seat? Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think. That's the next phrase.
Oh yeah.
And what's...
No, it's no. I think is the new
Yeah, that's where the next chunk ends.
Okay.
And what's happening in this paragraph is... That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way.
Funny.
That's Max feeling their face and being like, oh, the structure is different. Like,
Right.
There's an eyeball where there shouldn't be an eyeball. My nose is, like, 2 inches further
my
over.
God.
Like, it's like you feeling your own face and being like, this is not what I typically where things are. My neck hurts. That's very self-apparent. You just got smacked by a car.
Yeah.
How'd I get in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
That's
Boop.
it's all of that disorientation and confusion, because it's like a second ago I was over there and my face was one way and now I'm over here, and it's not even like you're in shock yet, because you still haven't connected what's happened. You're like, well, hold on, why? It's not even like,
I'm sorry,
this is fear. It's just outright confusion, because nothing makes
Who's
sense
screaming?
at this moment. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Who's screaming? Is it me? No, I think. And this is to harken back to that moment
Oh.
earlier in the script. It is you screaming. It's just you don't even really connect that it's you screaming, because you're in shock. You
You're
don't
just
know it
traumatic.
yet. Yeah.
Oh,
Like, it's
my
like,
God.
is it me screaming? No. I think, because like there is that very deep part of you that's like, oh wait, hold on. So it's like,
it's like a slowed down version of your thoughts.
Yeah, it's like, is it me? No, because like you're not screaming because you're not in pain. And then the I think is like that, like very first, like, wait a second.
Yeah.
That's your brain catching up to the last like however many
think?
sentences you've said to be like,
Oh wait.
well, everything I just said doesn't make sense. Hold on.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So the next phrase, the driver, I'm sorry, what for? I feel fine, really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. That's the next phrase.
Okay.
The driver, I'm sorry. That's you establishing that the driver is the one saying, I'm sorry. Because I'm sorry is a phrase that's going to be repeated throughout the rest of this. And so every time you say, I'm sorry, that's not you speaking, that's the driver speaking, because they've gotten out of their car and they're like, oh my god, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And so
the driver, I'm sorry.
And so, yeah, each I'm sorry is building in intensity, because the driver is just getting more and more frantic, because they, whether or not they realize it
So it's
yet,
the driver in the other car?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's, I'm sorry, what for? I feel fine. That's you. Because you're like,
what for?
I feel fine. Really
Yeah.
warm. It's actually pretty comfortable, because it's, from the first sentence, it's, there's a line I wanted to add in here somewhere. We'll get to it.
Okay.
It's actually pretty comfortable. Because it's what you described earlier. It's like being covered in blankets.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's your body going into shock, and it feels comforting. You're like, what are you sorry for? I literally feel fine. My face is disfigured, but I feel fine. So it's...
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. So that's what that is. It's, the driver, I'm sorry, literally why.
Yeah.
It's essentially the rest of the phrase.
Yeah. Before, I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. Yeah.
The Next phrase is, my rear view mirror is on the ground.
That's weird.
That's not where that goes. Normally I'm in my reflection. That's weird. That's not where that goes. That's the next phrase.
Okay.
This phrase is a two-hander because it's you seeing your rear view mirror on the ground and you're being like, that's weird. That's normally it goes on up here on the car, not down there. And then you pick it up and you look in and you see your face in the mirror and you go, oh, well, that's not where that goes, because it's you seeing your face that's been
disfigured,
horribly disfigured.
Yeah.
So it's just that repetition of, like, to you, these are equally weird, that the rear view mirror is on the ground and that your face no longer looks like your face.
That's weird.
Like, it's still the shock of being like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then you seeing your face and being like, well, that's not where that goes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Puts eyeball back.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh my god.
So that's that phrase.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm sorry, you keep saying that. What for? Am I saying that?
Am I saying that?
So the rest of this, there aren't really phrases, because the rest of this is where really all the threads start piling on top of each other. I'm sorry, that's the driver again. You keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. That's that self-disparaging Max.
Yeah.
Just
it probably should be. Like, I probably did something.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that is. I'm so warm. That's what that is. Someone's telling me not to move. That's however we want to read it. Paramedic, police officer, nearby concerned citizen who got out of their car to rush over and be like, holy shit, are you okay?
Yeah.
Stay in the car. Why? That's you. I'm sorry. Still the driver. Please be quiet. That's you to all these voices that are now intruding on you because you're like, holy shit, everyone chill out.
Okay.
My head hurts. I'm so warm, really tired. That's still all you. Because even though this is all you, it's essentially like 3 other different characters within yourself.
Really tired. Stay with me.
And so all the I'm sorries are the driver. All the stay with me's
the paramedics.
Paramedic, citizen, whoever we want to establish it as. That's another distinct voice that's saying it again and again. Yeah. Stay with me. Pain, stay with me. Screams, stay with me. Blood, all of those interspersed pain, screams, blood. That's all you. Then the stay with me. You cut yourself off with no, warm, comfort, tired. Like, because you're comfortable, but also you're not realizing, oh, I'm very sleepy.
Yeah.
And then once we get through all that, that's you've kind of recollected yourself. Well, this isn't so bad. Mm-hmm. I can sleep now. This is you coming to grips with what's happened.
Yeah.
Like, this is your brain shutting down.
Yeah.
People always say it's my, and so the rest of that kind of reads as, and then Max gets the last word. Good night, everyone. Until next time. And they.
So this is like a personal question.
Sure.
When you had your accident, did you like black out? Was it kind of like that same thing where it was like you got really tired and?
So as far as I can actively remember, like because I mean, it's a philosophical question at a certain point, like how much of our memory is real.
Yeah.
What I recall from my own personal perspective as my memory is sitting in my car. It's 6:27 p.m. on the dashboard. It's a very beautiful sky. The next thing I remember is I'm in a hospital and it's Friday. That is so crazy. It happened on a Wednesday.
That is so crazy.
And when I woke up in the hospital, I had been awake for a while because I was like mid-conversation, and that's just when my memory like clicked back into place.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was very disorienting. I was like, wait.
Like all of a sudden you're aware?
Yeah, I was like, wait,
whoa.
Where am I? Yeah, it was very
oh my god.
It was very disorienting.
It's like the moment where like you're smoking and like all of a sudden you realize you're high.
Yeah.
Because it's like that moment, but the exact opposite, where it's like you come to your reality.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, whoa. Yeah, it was
my god.
Very disorienting. Because people were like, you were in an accident. I was like, no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Because my brain, the brain is such a magnificent organ, because it was like, you actively should not remember all this because it's horrifying, so we're just going to jettison it.
Oh my gosh.
How much of this last paragraph we just worked through was actual memory, who's to say?
Yeah.
It's, as I was writing it, it was me trying to figure out what must that experience have been like, and this is what at the time I could articulate.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. So yes,
gosh.
From my perspective, I don't recall any of the screaming, any of that. I was told after the fact, and I have a very vague memory of this. Like, this was told to me, and so I don't know if this was, you know how like when people tell you a memory and like your brain can sometimes like fill in the gaps and like create a memory out of nothing.
Yeah.
So who's to say if I actually remember this or not? But apparently the paramedics like came to like put the neck brace on me because like that's standard procedure in a car accident, like keep the neck from moving. And like I was fighting with the paramedics and trying to take the neck brace off and I kept telling them, I'm like, I have somewhere to be, guys. I don't have time for this. Because I was late for rehearsal. And so that I have a vague memory of that because
that's the classic
they told me that. I was like, that does sound like me.
Yes, it does.
I can 100% believe if I was in shock, I would be fighting.
You're like, I actually have to
like,
go.
I'm late, guys. Like, I appreciate this, but really, it's time for me to go. They're like, you need to chill.
Oh my gosh.
You need to let us take care of you. But obviously that there's no way for me to work that in there.
I know, right?
That's a very just stark tonal change to pivot into fighting with paramedics.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. They told me that, I was like, yeah, that I don't doubt the truth of that for a second. So that's basically the entirety of my memory regarding the accident.
Yeah.
Is I was at that goddamn intersection. There's a vague memory of fighting with paramedics and like looking straight up at the sky.
Yeah.
And then the hospital 2 days later.
That is so crazy.
Yep.
It's so weird how the brain works.
The brain is so cool.
Especially because like you were living it. It's one of those things too where you experience, I feel like I've had traumatic experiences where like I've been in the hospital or something has happened to me or whatever, where you have this like this moment of like I'm living this and I'm not going to remember this later. But like I'm going to work through it right now.
Right,
and your brain is just telling you to work through it, and you're like telling yourself, you're like, I'm not going to remember this later. It's so crazy. And then you actually don't. It's so weird.
Yeah. And what's extra crazy to me is that like within like, because like in the following trial and all that, well, it wasn't a trial, it never made it that far.
Yeah.
But in like all of the paperwork that had to be accrued for all the legal proceedings that arose out of this, a lot of which were medical records, which I still have somewhere here.
Yeah.
In the medical records, like when I was taken from this intersection to this hospital over here that's in Silvis, I don't recall the name of it. But when I was admitted into the ER, they in the like the doctor's notes, I was like coherent in talking. And like the word coherent cracked me up because I was like, how was I coherent?
Yeah.
I have no
right?
My face is disassembled and I have no memory of it. What do you mean I was coherent?
Oh my god.
And like that,
and you're like, what was I saying?
That's also kind of part of it too, because that's kind of terrifying, because like if someone's like, yeah, you were totally coherent, I was like, I have no.
What the fuck
what
was
do you mean
I
was
saying?
coherent? That wasn't me talking because I wasn't awake.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, that really tripped me out, and like even
that your brain just operated
yeah,
without your like conscious being there.
Totally kicked in on its own, and like
holy shit.
Because like I was like answering questions about my pain, and like I was like I was like telling people where I was trying to go. Like all that was still in here, but like none of me was actively.
That
doing
is so strange.
And like it's absolutely crazy to me the way the brain operates once it goes into shock, because like you're still apparently even though you know there's no active thought on your part, which I mean now we're getting the whole philosophical question of like how much is active thought.
Right.
We could really get into the word but like it's so like the whole obviously there was a lot that happened to me because of this car accident, and so this is one of the many ways that I had to process all of that. And so this is an all and out shoot of that.
Oh man, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
There's so much to that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so with all of that context,
Okay.
let's try it
Okay.
from and then green lights through the end. And
Okay.
let's see what it sounds
Okay.
like.
All right. Okay. It's like I'm gonna go a couple before.
Do whatever you need to
Okay.
like build to where you need to be.
Okay. I'm just gonna go in from the top of the paragraph. I'm just gonna work from there. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. First, I find out there's only room temp beer. Then I'm dead. What a day I'm having. Are you there, God? It's me, Max. I remember. It's funny the things you remember. Not your life flashing before your eyes, just your life right up until the end. I remember picking up my keys. I remember getting in the car. I remember driving down the street. I'm on the way to rehearsal. I take a left, a right, a straightaway. I pull up to the red light. It's funny. I remember every detail after leaving the house. The clock on the dashboard reads 6:27 p.m. Everything is so clear, so precise, so perfect. It's a beautiful day. The sun is setting. It's like the world is daring me to stop and relax. For 3 seconds, my life is in order. And then green, lights, glass, 1,000 paper cuts. I'm so warm. It's like being covered in blankets. That's funny. I don't remember my face feeling that way. Ugh, my neck hurts. How'd I get into the passenger seat? Who's screaming? Is it me? No. I think. The driver. I'm sorry. What for? I feel fine. Really warm. It's actually pretty comfortable. My rearview mirror is on the ground. That's weird. That's not where that goes. Normally I'm in my reflection. That's weird. That's not where that goes. I'm sorry. You keep saying that. What for? I'm sorry. Am I saying that? I probably should be. I'm so warm. Someone's telling me not to move. Stay in the car. Why? I'm sorry. Please, be quiet. My head hurts. It's so warm. Really tired. Stay with me. There's so many voices. Stay with me. Pain. Stay with me. Screams. Stay with me. Blood. Stay. No. Warm. Comfort. Tired. This isn't so bad. I can sleep now. Finally, I'm comfortable. People always say, it's funny how life works. Well, it's funny how death works. It's not that bad, actually. Good night, everyone. Until next time.
Oh, that's so good.
Ah, so chilling.
That I don't have any notes. What you did sounded great.
Okay.
A positive note. For the reflection, that's weird. That's not where that goes. You had like a little half laugh. That's just so morbid and unlike that was perfect. Okay, we're doing great on time. I'm gonna stop the recording. We'll take a 5-minute break. Get some
Okay.
water, and then we'll go back through. We'll record it. And
We'll do the screen and...
Yep, and we'll do all that fun stuff, and I will talk more about that when we get to it. But for now, I'm going to hit stop. Thank you for listening to this week's rehearsal process. The goal of Barely There Theater is to create plays and entertainment for people free of charge, anywhere they want, anytime they want. Subscribe to us for mostly weekly updates with new audio plays, rehearsals, and whatever else might come up. We do ask that if you liked what you just listened to, consider donating to us at our website, barelytheretheater.com. And if you're in a position where you can't afford to donate, that's okay too. Consider passing this episode along to someone who you think will enjoy it. Tune in next time, and once again, thanks for listening to Barely There Theater.